2016 meet. Speaking of putting a bow on a nice 2016 meet, a win yesterday that we'll talk about gave trainer Ray Handel a 40% win hit rate at the meet. Pretty good. Limited starters, but still, it's a pretty good meet for Ray. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. How we doing?
Very good. We'll talk specifically about a couple of the horses that went into the winner's circle for you. But before we do that, just want to talk about your background a little bit. First, where are you from originally?
I was born in Sacramento, California, but I was raised in Jamaica and lived there for 9 years. And we moved back to America when I was 11 years old and went to school for 4 years in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and then I went off on my way on the track scene.
And reading some of the background information on you, it's kind of intriguing because you got into the game and kind of learned about the game and past performances and whatnot, helping your father out at the racetrack.
Yeah, Pops is a big reason why I got in the game. You know, he's visually impaired, so when we were young, he taught me how to read the form, and as he got older, his vision got progressively worse, so he kind of leaned on me a little bit more. And, you know, I just got into it. I love handicapping, and as I got older, I just kind of fell in love with the horses and the business and the lifestyle and the people on the track.
And talk a little bit about, you've had a pretty good resume as far as the barns you've gone through. Talk a little bit about that background.
Yeah, it's really fun. I've been fortunate to be placed in some, you know, amazing horsemen and tremendous trainers. I started with Jonathan Shepard.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I learned how to ride and kind of got my basics at horsemanship at his farm there in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. And after that, I spent some time with Michael Matz, kind of polished my skills up a little bit. Started learning a little more in depth and you know, about horsemanship. And you know, Michael's a tremendous horseman himself. Does a great job with the horses. And yeah, I came to New York. I spent some time in Kentucky with Kenny McPeak, and again, just kind of getting, you know, Kenny's really good at the business end of everything. Yeah. He runs a top ship. Can learn a little bit more of the business side of it being with him. Then I moved to New York, and I spent some time with Clement, but mainly I stayed with Tony Dutrow for 3.5 years at Aqueduct. I was his assistant up here in New York.
A little bit of everything there, the business side, the Dutrow barn, the Shepard barn. So as I say, a nice resume that kind of rounded things out. I'm just curious, Jonathan Shepard is my favorite guy. People who watch the show know I play everything he sends out up here, and we have our fingers. He's got one in the very last race of the meet.
Oh man, I'm hoping I'm going to be cheering him on so bad.
But how did you wind up starting with him? How do you make the transition from I want to get into the game to being on the Shepard barn in Pennsylvania?
There was a guy that I was friends with on the racetrack. He loved to bet the horses. He actually passed away. Michael D'Angelo is his name. But he worked on the track and he bet the horses. And you know, I got a hot walking job just by kind of hanging around the track at Calder, and I got sent to Colonial Downs. It was for Larry Bates, and he sent me up there that summer. And Michael D'Angelo was actually the assistant for Shepard at Colonial Downs that summer. And I was initially supposed to go up to Saratoga to groom for them. And we stopped off at Jonathan's farm on the way up there. And I was just like, man, this place is awesome. I love it here. And Jonathan was like, if you're looking to learn how to ride, which I wanted to do, he's like, just stay here and we'll teach you. And it'll be a lot of hard work, but you know, we'll get you schooled up. Yeah. So I just stopped. It was on a whim, complete whim. I ended up staying at the farm and lived there for like almost 2 years.
It's a pretty good whim.
Yeah, I know.
You know my friend Jimmy Bergen?
Yeah, Jim's awesome, man.
Went to school a few years apart, but
no way. Yeah, we still talk on Facebook. Yeah. We keep in touch.
Yeah, he's out there at the farm with Shepard for many years.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about, so now you've transitioned, and right before you went out on your own, you were with Tom Morley?
Yeah, for about almost a year I was working for Tom, just kind of getting my ducks in order and kind of setting up to start training. Tom needed some help, so, you know, it worked out well.
And then how do you decide, okay, I'm going to make that transition, go out on my own?
Well, I kind of waited a year before I made I decided that I was going to start training when Tony kind of consolidated his strings, and he went to Fair Hill. And I had an opportunity presented to me by some guys, a group of guys for Sunrise Stable, Andy Cohen, and the racing manager, Eric Bishop. They really pushed hard for me to start training, and they offered me up, they were going to give me 3 pretty nice horses. One was out of a Grade 1 winning mare by Big Brown, and 2 other solid New York breds that had ran before. So it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up, and I made the decision, and I just said I need some time. Let me get financially set up and get everything in line. And I wanted to start at Aqueduct in the fall, a little bit easier competition. Kind of went on from there.
And you talked a little bit about being with McPeak and learning the business side. Talk about how important that is, because it's particularly in 2016, it's more than just taking care of the horses. There's a whole other aspect to it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, just you got to be financially savvy. You can be the best horseman in the world, but if you don't know how to manage funds and keep everything in perspective, you go out of business quick.
And I pulled up your website. You have a nice website. If people want to visit and learn a little more about you and the operation, they can. But under the mission, you talk about maximizing the return on the client's investment, principally through strategic training programs. What does that involve?
Just being transparent with the owners, and just letting them know where we stand with the horse, and not over expectations. Just kind of keep everything in perspective, and not try and make it seem like the horses are better than they are. And if they're not good enough to compete in New York, being up front and telling them that this horse needs to go to Maryland, or maybe it might need to go to Philly, easier spots. So we just want to be honest and upfront with everybody, so it's happy and enjoyable for everyone.
All right, let's get to Saratoga now, because obviously when you're a trainer or a jockey or an owner, always nice to win on the big stage. And let's go back to yesterday and watch Gentrify. This is race number 2 yesterday. A starter allowance at the $50,000 level, 7 furlongs the trip. Goes out for the folks at Zilla Racing, and Gentrify will be the number 3 horse here under Joel Rosario. Talk a little bit about this race yesterday, and then just overall how much fun it is to win a race up here at Saratoga.
Oh, it's almost like it's not even, I can't even believe it really happened. But no, the horse has been training great. We ran him in the grass at the beginning of the meet. We couldn't get a race to go for him, and we just kind of took a shot. He obviously didn't like the grass at all, but he's training lights out. He's really been enjoying himself up here this summer. His coat's blossomed. He's put on weight, and I was expecting a really good performance. And I was kind of telling the guys, like, we're going to be okay. But when he broke from the gate, I knew when I saw 23, when he got the 23 flat opening quarter, I knew he was going to have something at the end. I knew at that point that we were in a good shape, and Joel did a great job sitting chilly on him, and I was really impressive. I was very pleased with him. He got a 90 buyer out of the race, so he got a
nice.
lifetime career high out of there.
And hopefully the team took your advice at 13-1.
Oh yeah, they all did.
Very good. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
I want to go to another lifetime best buyer performance. I believe Winter Springs came
Yeah.
out of the win here earlier in the meet with an 88 that topped that one's figures. We're going back to August 18th here. It is Winter Springs. And this was first off the claim, so a nice savvy claim back at the beginning of the meet, July 23rd. Winter Springs comes back, first time out for you. John Velasquez on board, can't hurt to have him in the saddle for you guys. Number 1 horse, Winter Springs, wins off by a length and a quarter. Talk a little bit about the process of claiming a horse, taking it, and kind of deciding where to go from there.
Yeah, when I look at horses to claim, one of the more important things is consistency in the past performance line, and he's consistently running solid races. And Chad does a great job with his horses, leaves a little meat on the bone. And so, we took a shot with him. We were actually the only person in for him that day.
Oh,
we
really?
took him for 25. So I've actually lost 15 consecutive shakes.
I was going to bring that up when you talked about being the only one in. One of the articles I read said you're a little snake bit as far as
Oh my
claiming
gosh,
game.
I can't get a claim. Actually, the last horse I claimed that I won the shake on was Gentrify in February.
And which turned out to, again, be a really nice claim. You claimed that one. A couple of wins since the claim with that one, playing in the money finishes as well. And that one for Zilla Racing and Winter Springs for Zilla Racing. We have some Zilla folks in the tent today. I was telling you before we went on, I know some of the local Zilla people. Talk a little bit about them as an ownership group.
Oh, it's just a pleasure to have them on board. They're great people. As you can see, they're here today. They've just supported me and been behind me from the start, even through thick and thin, they've been there. So it's been awesome.
And a partnership like that, again, up here at Saratoga, it's fun because Saratoga, it ties in, and a lot of it is the social aspect. People want to come back, look at the horses, and then on the front side, you get the group together, and when it's in the winner's circle, it's even better.
Absolutely.
But Saratoga plays into these kind of partnerships and the whole social aspect of the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. And some people, don't like it. They're like, God, don't bother me when I'm training the horses and stuff. But me personally, I love having my owners there. I want to have people that care about the horses and want to do the whole thing, not just the 2 minutes or the half an hour you're there for the race. Like, come on out and see your horse and pet on your horse and feed him carrots and mints. Like, I love having them around, and they're really a pleasure to train for.
And what's your game plan going forward? I'm sure you're looking to expand and coming off a 40% Saratoga meet.
I hope so.
That could look good on the business card.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to moving? And is the game plan, are you based down in New York most of the year?
Yeah, I'm based out of Belmont, but I'm planning to send a stall app in for Keeneland. I want to go there with a couple of turf sprinters that I have and a couple of other grass horses, and also to claim, because similar to being up here, people get aggressive with their placement, and you can get some good value for your price down there. And then I have like 4 grass horses now, so I guess the plan would be to send a small string down to Florida too this winter.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, see what happens.
All right, and again, a couple of wins at the meet out of just 5 starters, so the 40% mark. We certainly congratulate you on that. We'll be looking forward to going forward down in New York and maybe some of the other venues as well, and good luck going forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
Ray Handel, he's new on the scene as far as the training game, but again, very, very nice Saratoga meet. A couple of those wins for